Welcome back to the Food and Drink Chronicles. I have 20 tips in less than 20 minutes about Super Nintendo World in Hollywood Studios. You're going to want to stay tuned. Let's go. Tip number 1, book the Hilton at Universal City. So the Hilton at Universal City is only a 5-minute walk, maybe even less. And they have ground transportation as well to get you to and from the park. That hotel has a starting cost of $200 and can go up to $500 depending how busy it is during the seasons. Tip number 2, arrive to the park early. The park can get extremely busy and the land can fill up really quickly. So I actually suggest you get there 2 hours early if you possibly can. I got there half an hour early and unfortunately I was not able to get into the land and I had to do a virtual line to get into Super Nintendo World. So that's why you show up early. Another reason to show up early, they may run out of tickets. They also may run out of fast passes. So that's another great reason to arrive early because the park can fill up. And the other reason is because you have to make your way across the park into the lower lot, and the lower lot can take a long time to get into if there's a huge crowd that's trying to get to Nintendo World. Just show up early. Tip number 3, always check the weather. In Orlando, Florida, which is where I usually go to theme parks at, it's typically really hot there and it does not get cool. And even over the summer, there's no cool weather whatsoever. However, that's not the case in California. In California, it can get down to 50 degrees in the morning and about 70 to 80s for the high in the afternoon. So just be aware that it gets a little bit cold. It's not that cold, but for some people, it may be cold enough. Tip number 4, download the Universal Studios app. You're gonna need the app to get a virtual line. You're gonna need the app to use your power-up band, which we'll get to later. So just download the app. But make sure that the app you download is the Universal Studios Hollywood app. You will not be able to use the Universal Studios Orlando app. Tip number 5, ride other rides. Believe it or not, there's other parts of the land that you can visit and they're gonna have low wait times. So in the lower lot, they have Jurassic World, they have Transformers, and they have The Mummy, which are all really great rides, and they're probably gonna be about a 5-minute wait. Now, if you go up to the upper lot, you're gonna have the Wizarding World, The Simpsons, so on and so forth. And all those rides, they're gonna have very low wait times. And I cannot go without mentioning Secret Life of Pets. Secret Pets of Life is a really good ride. You can find it in Orlando, but that ride also is gonna be a low wait time as well. Tip number 6, ride the studio tour. So the studio tour is really cool. You can't do the studio tour in Orlando, but just keep in mind that the studio tour is 45 minutes to an hour. It's cool because you get to see some studios where they film TV shows and movies. You also get to ride a couple rides. So they have the King Kong ride and they have Jaws and Fast and the Furious. Definitely worth checking out. Do the studio tour. Tip number 7. On the lower lot, you're gonna see a popcorn and drink stand for Super Nintendo World. That stand's pretty cool because you can buy a popcorn bucket there. And they have 2 choices of popcorn buckets right now. They have the star that can light up and they have a Mario Kart looking popcorn bucket. Now these popcorn buckets will get you free popcorn all day throughout the entire day with proof of purchase, that being the receipt. Unfortunately, you can only get popcorn for the whole day just for that one day. So if you bring it back, you cannot get popcorn throughout the day with just your popcorn bucket. You do have to have that proof of purchase. The other thing you can get is you can get sippers, and the sippers are really cool too. So they have like a power-up sipper, a one-up sipper, and these sippers will get you 1 free drink. After that, you gotta pay for the basic price for what a soda or water would cost. Actually, I think water is free. Tip number 8, you gotta get a power-up band. Super Nintendo World is completely built around this power-up band, and those power-up bands are really fun to use. They're gonna get you, onto a point system whenever you hit blocks, ride Mario Kart, whenever you play the games, so on and so forth. These bands will run you about 40 bucks a piece, I believe like $43 after taxes. They're actually worth it, and they're really cool. And it's fun to track your progress as you play all these games and as you unlock other things as well. Now, these power-up bands can be purchased at a kiosk within the land. They can be purchased at the Universal store. They can be purchased at the 1-Up store. Get yourself a band and run around and have fun and unlock some cool prizes. Tip number 9, check out my pass holder preview video where I have some pretty cool hacks on how to use those bands. Tip number 9, plan to ride Mario Kart more than once. So this ride is going to be a little bit different each time that you ride it, and actually does have a little bit of a learning curve as well. Another important tip to this though is that do not forget to scan your power-up band before you begin the ride. Tip number 11 in regards to Mario Kart. If you want to ride this ride multiple times, but don't want to wait in a very long line, you can skip most of the line by doing the single riders line. If the single line is open, I highly suggest that you take that line because it's a much shorter line, or get a fast pass. Tip number 12, make sure you're in the right line. So this park is extremely small. You may have a hard time finding out which line that you're in. So before you even approach a line, maybe ask a team member, hey, where's the line where I can get to the Piranha Plant? Or where's the line where I can get to meet Mario and Luigi? Because I'll tell you, whenever I was waiting in one of the lines, I thought I may have been in the Princess Peach line, because the line within that line was Princess Peach. But it just happened that I was actually in a line to play one of the games. Tip number 13, there are some games you can play to earn keys. You want to go to the app, you want to make sure you know where those keys are at, because you're going to want to play those games so that way you can go up against Bowser Jr. And Bowser Jr. is really fun to go up against because you get this sort of like augmented reality game where you get to hit little balloons and then hit bombs and dodge bombs, and it kind of looks like you're actually in the game, which is pretty cool. It is a bit of a workout, but it's not that bad and it's pretty fun. Tip number 14, go upstairs and check out what the upstairs has to offer. So upstairs, they have more blocks you can hit. They have little Mario symbols you can scan your band with, but they also have some binoculars to look out, and you get to see like some little things in the land. It kind of has like a sort of like another little augmented reality thing where you can see like little figures jumping around, and it's kind of cool. It just adds more to the land. So you got to go upstairs, you got to check it out. Plus you get a really good view of the land. Tip number 15, if you want to meet the characters, well, you're going to have to make sure that you go at that scheduled time, because if you arrive late, you're not going to be able to meet those characters. You have to be there early, and you have to make sure that you're in the right line as well. Tip number 16, check your scores on the app. It's actually kind of fun to see how your team is doing. And another thing about that is that you can also see yourself as an individual and how you score up against everyone else. So that's kind of cool, and it makes it fun. Makes it more competitive. Tip number 17, if you want to wear a costume to the land, well, I recommend that you buy your costumes beforehand. Now you can go onto Amazon, you can go onto Etsy, whatever store you prefer. You're going to see people that are walking around with like Luigi and Mario hats and overalls and crazy stuff like that. As far as I know, I have not seen that stuff in the park for sale. I've seen some variations of it, but I haven't seen the hats. So if you want to get that kind of stuff to wear into the park, go ahead. Go buy that stuff online, because it's really cool getting to see everybody dress up like that, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Tip number 18, and this is a pretty important tip. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to reserve a virtual line at least twice within the day. Once you're in the land, maybe you can make a virtual line reservation again, I don't know. But what my wife and I did was she made a reservation for the morning on her phone, and I made a reservation on my phone. And the cool thing about this reservation system is that they're not scanning tickets, they're scanning the phone. So on your phone, you can plug in how many people are in your party, and then whenever you scan it, everyone else just walks up behind you and they get into the land. Now keep in mind, you have to have a complete party in order to get into the land. So if you're missing one person, then they're not gonna let you in. You have to have everybody there. But also consider this, if you're in the park and you have to leave for whatever reason, maybe you're just, getting overwhelmed because of how crowded it is, well, you can't go back into the land unless you have a reservation. And also that reservation, you have like an hour time hack to meet that reservation, and you have to meet it exactly on the dot. So I try to show up early, they wouldn't let me in. So make sure that when you go to the reservation, that you're on time and that you have your complete party and that you're ready to go in. Tip number 19. This is like the most important tip of this entire list. And that is, you gotta eat at Toadstool Cafe. You guys, Toadstool Cafe is amazing. They have really good food. It's the best food that I've experienced in a Universal Park. And believe me, I've been to Orlando Informer events, I've been to Islands of Adventure, I've been to Universal Studios Orlando, I've been to Mythos, I've been to all these different places. I've tried almost everywhere that you can think of within these parks. And I gotta say, Toadstool is the best food that I've ever tried in the Universal Park. The short rib special is really good. The soups are really good. The burgers are okay. They're a little bit dry, but they're not that bad. The fries that come with them are really good because they're truffle fries. And the lemon squash soda, that's a really good drink as well. So I do have videos on that. I have 2 videos where I actually do go to Toadstool Cafe, and I tried almost all the food. I think the only thing I didn't get to try was 2 different salads. So you gotta go back and watch those previous videos that I've made, because they really go in depth on what Toadstool Cafe has to offer. And believe me, It's really good food. Tip number 20. There's only one Super Nintendo World that is within the US. Now there's another Super Nintendo World, but it's actually located in Japan. And currently there are 2 more being built. One in Singapore and one in Orlando, Florida at Epic Universe. I don't know when the one in Singapore is going to open, but the one in Epic Universe is scheduled to open in about 2025. Well, anyways, that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to stick around, I am still trying to do a giveaway. So for this giveaway, the only thing that I want is for you to let me know what you're most excited about Super Nintendo World. So if you're interested in getting this cool Bowser hat, which retails for $27, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and let us know what you're most excited for at Super Nintendo World. And that's it. So whenever you enter in a win, we'll send you a message saying to go on to our Instagram, and you send us your address and we will mail this off to you. Okay? If you don't want to participate, or if you don't want the hat, that's perfectly cool. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool hat. I mean, I think I would rock it. But hey guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It would definitely help me out a lot. And also leave me a like. Feel free to comment. If you have any questions regarding the parks or anything else, please let me know. But that's going to be it. Food and Drink Chronicles out.